Chapter 1. The Halls of Enchantment. In a world not entirely unlike our own, the impossible had been rendered mundane. The arcane, once shrouded in mystery and superstition, had been unraveled and woven into the very fabric of society. Magic was no longer the stuff of fairy tales and ancient myths. It was a science, as real and as teachable as physics or chemistry. The greatest minds of the age did not toil away in laboratories or observatories. They stood at the forefront of magical research, within the grand and ancient walls of the Halls of Enchantment. The halls were a sight to behold, a sprawling university that seemed to defy the laws of space and time. Towers spiraled into the sky, adorned with shimmering runes that glowed with an otherworldly light. Gardens filled with fantastical flora and fauna stretched out as far as the eye could see, each plant and creature a testament to the wonders of magical botany and zoology. Within these walls, the brightest students from all corners of the globe gathered to learn the secrets of the arcane. Magic had been broken down into its constituent parts, categorized and codified into disciplines as varied and complex as any scientific field. There were elementalists who commanded fire, water, earth, and air with a flick of their wrist, alchemists who transmuted base metals into gold and concocted elixirs that could heal or harm, summoners who called forth beings from other planes of existence, and enchanters who imbued objects with magical properties. The curriculum was rigorous and the stakes were high. In this society, magical ability was the key to power and prestige. Those who excelled in their studies could look forward to a life of influence and luxury, their talent sought after by governments and corporations alike. The most successful mages became celebrities, their exploits the subject of breathless news reports and holovids. But the Halls of Enchantment were more than just a place of learning. They were the heart of a society transformed by magic. Technological advancements, once thought to be the pinnacle of human achievement, had been eclipsed by spells and enchantments. Buildings were constructed with levitation and telekinesis. Illnesses were cured with the wave of a wand, and communication across vast distances was achieved through scrying pools and crystal balls. As the first chapter of our story unfolds, we meet a young initiate, Alexi, standing before the grand gates of the halls, their intricate carvings depicting the legendary mages of old. Alexi's eyes are wide with a mixture of awe and nervous anticipation. Born to a modest family with no magical lineage, Alexi had worked tirelessly to earn a place among the elite, to prove that talent and hard work could rival the purest of magical bloodlines. Today, Alexi would begin a journey that countless others could only dream of. Beyond those gates lay the promise of knowledge, power, and a chance to shape the world. But with every spell cast and incantation uttered, Alexi would soon learn that magic, like any science, held its own dangers and moral quandaries. For in a world where the laws of nature could be bent and broken, what new laws would humanity choose to govern itself? And so, with a deep breath and a determined heart, Alexi stepped forward into the Halls of Enchantment, ready to embrace a future where magic was not just a fantasy, but a reality to be mastered. Chapter 2. The Spellbound Society. Alexi's first steps into the Halls of Enchantment were like crossing the threshold into another realm. The air buzzed with an electric charge, the very atmosphere alive with the hum of magical energy. Students in robes of varying colors, signifying their disciplines, moved in a choreographed dance of purpose and ambition. Alexi could feel the weight of potential hanging heavy in the air, a palpable force that promised greatness and whispered of peril. The Spellbound Society was not just a term for those who wielded magic. It was a literal stratification of the world's populace. At the pinnacle were the archmages, individuals of such immense power and knowledge that they shaped the policies of nations. Below them were the master mages, experts in their chosen fields, innovators and leaders in magical research and application. The journeyman mages, skilled practitioners, formed the backbone of the magical workforce, while the apprentices like Alexi were the hopefuls, the dreamers, the raw clay waiting to be shaped by the hands of experience. In this new chapter of Alexi's life, the young mage-to-be was quickly introduced to the rigors of magical academia. The curriculum was as diverse as it was demanding, with courses ranging from the theoretical foundations of magic to the practical applications of spellcraft. Alexi's days were filled with lectures on magical ethics, workshops on wand work, and grueling sessions of mental discipline to strengthen the mind's control over the arcane. But the halls were more than just classrooms and libraries. They were a microcosm of the Spellbound Society, a place where the future leaders of the magical world cut their teeth. Here, alliances were formed, rivalries were born, and the seeds of future conflicts were unwittingly sown. Alexi quickly learned that navigating the social hierarchy was as crucial as mastering the spells themselves. Talent could elevate one's status, but so could cunning, charisma, and the careful cultivation of relationships. As Alexi delved deeper into the study of magic, the young initiate also began to see the cracks in the society's glittering facade. Not all were pleased with the way magic had stratified the world. There were those who argued that the concentration of power in the hands of a magical elite was a recipe for tyranny. Others pointed out that the reliance on magic had caused certain technologies to stagnate, and that there were realms of knowledge being neglected in the pursuit of arcane mastery. Moreover, the allure of magic had given rise to a black market of forbidden spells and cursed artifacts. The pursuit of power led some down dark paths, and Alexi was warned of the dangers of delving into the shadowy corners of spellcraft. The Halls of Enchantment taught control and responsibility, but outside its walls, there were mages who used their abilities for less noble ends. Amidst this complex web of power and politics, Alexi found a mentor in Professor Elara, a master enchanter whose wisdom and kindness provided a guiding light. Under Elara's tutelage, Alexi began to understand that magic was more than just a tool for personal gain. It was a force that could shape the world for better or worse. The true test of a mage was not in how much power they could wield, but in the choices they made with that power. As the term progressed, Alexi's skills grew, and so did the young mage's reputation. But with every success came new challenges, and Alexi was about to face the first true test. A crisis loomed on the horizon, one that would require all the knowledge and courage the initiate had acquired. The Spellbound Society was about to be shaken to its core, and Alexi would be thrust into the heart of the storm. The Halls of Enchantment had opened the door to a world of wonder, but they also revealed the shadows that magic cast. In the next chapter, Alexi would learn that in a society bound by spells, the greatest magic of all might just be the power to change it. In the twilight of our tale, the very essence of the world trembled as the Ethereal Divide, that delicate boundary between the known and the unknowable, began to fray. The crisis that loomed was not merely a tempest of rogue spells or the machinations of power-hungry mages. It was a tear in the fabric of reality itself, threatening to unravel the threads that bound magic and science, chaos and order. Alexi, once a mere initiate, now stood at the precipice of destiny, a beacon of hope in a time of uncertainty. With knowledge gleaned from ancient tomes and the wisdom of mentors like the sagacious Professor Elara, Alexi faced the Ethereal Divide with a heart both valiant and pure. The young mage had learned that the true essence of magic was not domination, but balance, not the conquest of nature, but harmony with its inexorable laws. As the world watched, breath bated and eyes wide with wonder and fear, Alexi channeled the collective will of the Spellbound Society, weaving a tapestry of spells more intricate and beautiful than any before. The rift that threatened to consume all was met with a force born not of one, but of many, a symphony of souls united in purpose. And in that moment of unity, the Ethereal Divide was sealed, not by the might of one, but by the courage of all. The aftermath of the crisis left the world forever changed. The Spellbound Society, once rigid in its hierarchy, now understood the strength found in diversity and the power of collective endeavor. The Halls of Enchantment, once the sole bastion of magical learning, opened their doors wider, inviting in those who had once stood at the margins, ensuring that the future of magic would be shaped by all facets of humanity. And what of Alexi, you ask? The young mage who had stepped through the gates with nothing but a dream became a legend, a symbol of the idea that magic, like any great power, thrives not in the hands of the few, but flourishes in the grasp of the many. As our story closes, consider this. In a world where magic is a science, what wonders could we achieve if we, too, embrace the notion that our greatest spells are cast together, and that the true magic lies in the unity of our endeavors?